Hi, and welcome to Issaquah Buzz, where we talk about all things business in Issaquah, from retail gossip to new restaurants. My name is Monahan, and I work with the city's communications team. And I'm thrilled to be here today with Christy Garrard, who is the Executive Director of Visit Issaquah, and also a longtime community partner and friend. Thank you so much, Christy, for being here today. Before we get to any kind of gossip and all the things we're talking about today, can you share a bit about what Visit Issaquah is and what you do for our community?
Absolutely. I am an ambassador for Issaquah for the visitor economy. So Visit Issaquah is the destination marketing organization for the city, and I work across sectors of outdoor recreation, creative economy, and hospitality to generate visits to Issaquah.
So, and how is that helpful to generate business to Issaquah as far as bringing visitors in? How does that help our community?
It's a really great question, and the way I answer that always for my neighbors here in Issaquah, those we're locals. Our small business economy is not going to thrive with local patronage alone.
Yeah.
We need the visitor economy to have a thriving economy, and I take that very seriously.
Yeah. And so much of what we talk about in Buzz is how we locally as residents are supporting our businesses, but it's also really important, to make sure that we have that support outside of our borders. So I'm really appreciative of all that you do for our community.
Thank you.
And I'm sure people may recognize you from your other position years ago, which is how we first got to know each other.
Right, yeah.
What was that?
So my family and I have lived here almost 20 years now in Issaquah, and for 12 of those years, I represented the Issaquah Highlands community specifically.
Yeah.
So was very involved with greater community relations in that role, and then had the opportunity to move to Visit Issaquah and be an ambassador for all of Issaquah, and I've really enjoyed the work.
Well, okay, let's get to some buzz now.
Right.
And I really appreciate your perspective, too, on what this means, too, for even bringing folks from outside of Issaquah to our community. So first up, the weather's starting to turn. Kids are back to school, which I can't believe that summer's already over.
All over.
And we'll talk, there's still some summer left, so we're not saying goodbye yet. And we'll talk about some kind of fun summer events coming up. But what I want to first focus on was something that's kind of hit the news, is a super interesting business idea. And it's an indoor play structure for kids, but it's a sandbox.
An indoor sandbox.
Yeah, called Sand Gardens. So they're opening on Gilman, and it's near Elements Massage and All the Best Pets. Yeah, like the pet store.
Yeah.
So it's in that kind of area, and they're opening hopefully this fall. There are a lot of renderings online.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
I
but
know.
I guess, if your kids are really still dreaming of the beach, you can still bring them indoors once the weather turns.
Well,
in town.
and it's such a sensory experience.
Yeah.
Playing in the sand, and in this part of the country, we don't get that much opportunity. They can play in the mud, but not so much in the dry sand, and I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, mud or rocks,
Yeah,
I guess.
rocks,
When we're like, let's go to the beach, it's like, oh, we're playing in rocks.
Yeah.
So they're going to have toys there and just a lot of sensory activities. I was looking on their website. They're also going to do, they have some like arts and crafts tables and areas for birthday parties, of course.
Right.
I think what'll be most interest to parents is that there's going to be an area for enjoying snacks and coffee while your kids are playing, that you can just have a moment too to yourself. Right. So anyway, very excited that is coming to town.
We
also
are as well.
super unique, yeah. So that's going to be, I think, a good complement to a lot of things that are now open indoors for kids and parents.
Right.
I know that Nick's magnificent indoor playground has gotten rave reviews.
Well, it's a spectacular venue, isn't it, for indoor play?
Yeah, it's
incredible.
Amazing. So we've got that. I mean, there's also like arena sports. I know that's where my kind of now older kids, we're not, going to those locations anymore, but do love going to arena sports for gaming. So, providing those options, or some of those are attraction for folks that are outside of Issaquah?
Well, absolutely. We know that Issaquah's indoor attractions, and let's not forget we have Ninja Quest Adventures and Laughing Dragon and Northwest Pottery Collective and Mudhouse Pottery and Happy Time Studio, not to mention our community center and our libraries also have really great drop-in programs as well, so for those days. So that being said, we are a regional draw in the Seattle metro area. We are a destination where families will will come and enjoy what we have to offer. And I also like to think about, when we have our relatives or friends visit from out of town, out of state, out of the country, you want to have fun things to do with them as well. And so having these indoor options is really, really an important part of the visitor economy. So we're thrilled to have it.
That's I never thought about that, but it's very much the case. Yeah. There's a lot to offer visitors if they've got young kids. I have mentioned before on the Buzz, Kids Strong Issaquah is also opening. They are going to be located kind of near Hobby Lobby. I've been emailing with them. They're hoping to open in October and are taking kind of pre-registration on their website now. Also, they're going to be near actually Awajimaya, which I'm still so excited about. I will say most folks, when they see them just in real life, are like, when is Awajimaya opening? And I'm like, this is going to be months and months and months. That's going to be some time. But anyway, Kids Strong Issaquah will also be in that complex, which I know is going to be just jam-packed as soon as that's opened. So excited for that. So they offer 45-minute indoor classes for kids that help with not only building strong minds, but bodies. So another opportunity. I think we've just listed all these off, I wish a lot of these had been open when my kids were younger, don't you?
Yes, and I think I want to say kudos to our economic development team at the city, because these indoor options are desires that we see in survey after survey. We want more things for kids to do, family-friendly things to do, things that are indoors. And so knowing that our economic development team is keeping that top of mind, so that when these opportunities for businesses to locate in Issaquah, they can help them. We can either recruit them here or help them get through the opening process smoothly. And I think it's important to recognize that small business owners have a lot of options in this region of where they can locate a business, and that they choose to locate their business in Issaquah is really significant, and the onus is on those of us that live here to make sure that they are frequented and that we're telling all our friends about them. And Kids Strong and Sand Garden also already have a social media presence, so that's a great way for locals to kind of connect and follow and be up to date on when they're opening and learn more about them.
Yeah, great. So I actually thought about inviting you to be my co-host on Buzz after running into you at JoJo's.
Yes.
So in the last Buzz, I was talking about, JoJo's is opened, haven't been yet. Okay, now I can't stop going to JoJo's.
I know.
And it is packed.
It's packed, and it's packed with such a diverse array of customers.
Yeah.
You see teenagers, you see senior citizens, you see people from all over the planet. I mean, it's really a beautiful experience.
It is. And so for those that haven't been, so JoJo's is a cafe. They are just starting some food options. They're right on Front Street.
Right.
I agree that you see everybody there.
Yeah.
And I've just been there, as I'm like doing some work meetings from JoJo's now. And that's like a great option because it's close to City Hall.
Yeah.
But I even saw online there's now like a group of moms who are meeting at JoJo's and then walking with strollers and their babies to go to Jakob Two Trees and then back. And so
why not?
I was like, that's a perfect amount of walk and you get a treat out of it. Anyway, so it's just cool to see that community building that's happening around a cafe opening in town. I really I got a doppio with a side of sparkling water, and it came on like this fancy wooden plate. Their glassware is unbelievable.
It really elevates the cafe experience. I'm usually a black drip drinker, and I go in there and I'm just so inspired. So I started ordering mochas, full sugar. If you know what that means. So. And then it comes in this beautiful fancy glass. It's not in a paper cup with a sleeve, unless you need it to go. And it's really, really special.
Yeah, it is. So if it's packed at JoJo's, which there's been some times I can't find a seat.
Right.
A quick plug too, just because I'm so excited. The city just finished a project in one of its most recent park enhancements. So we've redone the Senior Center Plaza, which is beautiful and has so much more space and seating and just an open connection now to pedestrian park.
Yes.
Which also has a new water feature and a whole bunch of just like nooks and crannies that you can sit at and really cool seating. So that space has really been opened up, and I, very much the vision of our parks department that there are these interplays between so many of our community meeting spaces. And so if you're in Old Town and you're looking for a place to just like have your drink or to have a lunch or just to have a moment, there's some new really cool spaces now.
And true story, I leave this conversation with you, and I'm taking a business meeting with a colleague, and we've gotten used to meeting at the senior center under the covered area, and so that's literally like, see you at the senior center, sounds good. So I'll walk over to JoJo's, grab a coffee, and then I'll go meet him under the cover there, and it's just beautiful. But I also want to say, I mean, it's an incredible use of Issaquah's tax dollars to improve that whole pedestrian park area. And for someone that comes through, looks at Issaquah now through the lens of the visitor experience, that pedestrian park at one of the most iconic intersections in Issaquah at Front and Sunset is just a gorgeous gateway. I mean, so much more welcoming as you come into the city, to the Old Town area, our creative district, from any direction, and you see this bright, beautiful, modern space, and it just welcomes you in and welcomes you to explore. And it just exceeds all the expectations that I could have ever dreamt about. I'm really excited. It's done.
My youngest daughter wanted to go see it because we've driven by a few times. Right. And we were talking about how the water feature is to emulate or really is inspired by Issaquah Creek, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
And we also loved looking at the art. So make sure that if you do check out the area, that you also check out the local new art in town.
Right.
So we like to cover a lot of the, it's always fun to talk about the openings and all the exciting new things coming. But at Buzz, it's also important to talk about things that maybe have closed, right? Or saying goodbye, or how we can support business owners as they're transitioning out of business. So Casey's Car Care did reach out to us. This location for car repair was located along Gilman, where the Brown Bear Car Wash is. Kind of near like the Chamber of Commerce and Sochi Tacos and that area. So that has since closed. He's now retiring due to some health issues, and he's just wanting to put a shout out for if anyone's looking to start their business as a mechanic. He's looking for someone to purchase all of his equipment and tools. And so if that's something that's of interest to anyone that's listening or in the community, he is available by phone at 425-392-2285. So just a shout out to support somebody, as they've served our community for so long in repairing our cars, right? That he hopefully can find someone to take on his legacy.
It's nice to have this format to be able to help him out in that way.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right. So we've been talking a lot about indoor play, but like I hinted, so summer's not over. I know that, yes, school's back in session, but it's still really hot out and beautiful out. And there's a lot of great events coming up still to really cap off summer. So don't forget that Issaquah has its downtown summer wine and art walks. The last one will be September 5th in Old Town. That will also be a very busy night in Old Town. As I was looking at the calendar and the dates, it's also the Issaquah Culture Fest at the Community Center, which is one of my favorite events of the year.
Beautiful.
This is a free event, and it celebrates the cultural diversity of Issaquah. There will be food trucks. There will be a lot of performances from local artists. There's free henna for all ages, so you can have a design put on. There's actually going to be, this one was intriguing to me, live animals from the Cougar Mountain Zoo are also going to be making an appearance. And a lot of art activities for kids and adults alike. So be sure to join us. I mean, all of Old Town will just be buzzing on the 5th. So make sure to check all of that out.
Well, let me say, not just on the 5th.
Yeah.
So September is, and hopefully I can get this right, it is the month of Salmon Shenanigans, Quilty Pleasures, Art Safaris, and Equinox Vibes.
Wow.
Let me tell you more. So the weekend of September 12th through the 14th is the weekend of the quilt. There's a humongous quilt show at the community center, and you don't have to be you don't have to know how to sew or be a quilter to attend. I mean, it's true artisan work, and it is huge. And that runs 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Okay.
The 14th is our annual Salmon on Sunset celebration at the Issaquah Salmon Hatchery. And if you've been before, don't think you shouldn't go again. I happen to know that Mark Clemens and the Friends of Issaquah Salmon Hatchery have some really awesome new activations that are going to be happening during this event. So I'm not going to say any more than that, but I am saying don't miss it this year.
Okay.
So that's that weekend. And then on September 20th, which is the autumn equinox, we have a Happy Time Studio, which is also a part of an organization called Art Commons, are hosting the second annual Issaquah Open Studio Tour. So you can go on a safari for art all over Issaquah, 10 different destinations, and see artists in the wild working in their layers, if you will, and you know, you will come away with something. You may come away with something you purchased, but you may also just come away with a new connection to the creative economy. So I really encourage folks to go to artcommons.org, and that's where you'll find the information. And they should release the map for this year's Open Studio Tour any day now, but it's not out yet. And take advantage of exploring all of Issaquah and our creative economy. And at the end of that day, head over to Lake Sammamish for a sundown sound bath experience that is being produced by a collaboration between Issaquah Arts and the Friends of Lake Sammamish State Park. And it just really way to, you know, it's a vibe. Let me just say, if you haven't been to a sound bath yet, it's a vibe. And at sunset, looking over our beautiful Lake Sammamish, incredible. And so those both happen on September 20th.
Wow, and that's not the first time they've had a sound bath.
No,
right?
they've been doing it all summer.
Yeah, I saw some videos online. Was like, that's also something very new I've never experienced.
Right, yeah. Beautiful collaborations happening in intersections between our creative economies and our outdoor recreation outfitters and environmental advocacy organizations. And can I just say, there's a lot more happening in Issaquah. In September, as well as every month. Visit Issaquah with our contract with the city. We are the official keeper of the social events calendar for Issaquah, and I take it very seriously. And I work hard to mine all over the internet to find out what's happening around town. So if you want more information about these events, including the Culture Fair and that you talked about in the Wine and Art Walk and all of that, and much, much more, at visitissaqua.com, and just hit the events calendar. We update it almost daily as things come to our attention. But there's already Northwest Pottery Collective is doing, they've got one-day workshops, so you don't have to enter into a long-term commitment if you're not a potter enthusiast. And they've got all these fall and Halloween projects that you can go in and make little jack-o'-lanterns or a pumpkin mug and things like that. And but there's just so much to offer. A lot of it is free or low cost. So I really encourage our viewers today to check out the website for that.
I also follow you on Instagram, and that's been my key way of knowing what's going on in town. So I really appreciate your posts, especially the adults' night out, like posts that you've been doing, or
my adults only posts get the biggest viewer set, impressions. So it's clear that people are looking for those things, and you will find them on the Visit Issaquah calendar.
Yeah, I love it. You're cultivating it for just different audiences. Anyway, I really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
All right. So besides all of those events, also a reminder, Farmers Market at Pickering Barn continues throughout September. That's going to be the final month for the season, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The produce is still amazing. It's, again, summer's still here. I'm not letting it go. But also, this is the month that we are returning our homegrown retail program. So that's where homegrown businesses are testing the waters, right, for maybe perhaps growth or to grow their customer base at the market. And so there's a lot of cool things. The list is on our website of those that we're featuring in the month of September. But there's French antiques, there's stained glass, there's a whole bunch of like aprons and bags and totes that you can buy. A lot of Issaquah themed merchandise too, which I'm always a sucker for. So I'm excited to check that out. Have you been to the market yet this year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I got to be a part of this homegrown retail application process. So kind of vetting all that was offered. So So I can validate that the offerings that have been coming through that program are really great. And I think that, they do such an amazing job, such an intentional job of curating the Issaquah Farmers Market. So it is what you'd expect, but it's also what you don't know what to expect. They do a really great job of bringing in new things. I always leave with produce, a bouquet of flowers, and a bag of kettle corn. And then probably other things.
Yes.
Last year, I bought a couple of kitchen knives that, from just a small maker.
Yeah.
And we love those pieces, and we'll have them forever, and the memory of buying them at a farmer's market, which I think is really special too.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so, we've found a lot of success, I think, in Issaquah Buzz, and that we're talking about just hyper-local stories or things that folks are interested in. And, as a communications team, we've really been talking about, all right, we have that void of we don't have a ton of local media that's covering, all of the community building stories in town. And so we've been trying more and more with a new project called Uniquely Issaquah, which is on our website, and it's more about storytelling in town, and it's featuring community members just in most wonderful ways. So it's anything from someone going to the Olympics to there's been so many different ones.
Nationally renowned artists who live in Issaquah,
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
The history of Bohms. I mean, it's just those things that help us feel more connected to our community. And so we've been trying to do more and more of that. And so the latest one that one of my coworkers, Naomi, just wrote, and then we are posting to Uniquely Issaquah, is about all of the outdoor summer patios that you should visit before summer's over.
Right.
And this just came up because, it is something that I've often thought about of like, oh, we're going out to dinner. It's beautiful out.
Yeah.
Where do I go outside?
Right.
So, thinking about some of my favorite places, Formula is one for me, always. Very kid-friendly, dog-friendly.
I was there last Wednesday at 4:00. It was packed. On a Wednesday. It's a really great community hub.
It is, yeah. And there's so many clubs and other things that meet there, especially outside. I also like going to Masa, Mexican Kitchen. And then speaking of Gilman Village, Well and Table has an amazing deck outside just for a nice dinner.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite spots outdoors?
We live in the Issaquah Highlands, so Agave is a go-to forever, especially when we can sit outside. And then we really like the Black Duck Cask and Bottle at Gilman Village as well. And if you have, and I haven't experienced it yet, but I'm really impressed with Nicolino's Italian restaurant at Gilman Village. They have created a canopy of colorful umbrellas hanging over their outdoor patio. It's very European, you know, and I would encourage listeners and viewers to check that out because really special. And then on the other end of Gilman Village, the owners of Gilman Village have done a lot of financial investment in that infrastructure, and they've redone the decking all down between Crumble and Flake and Berna's Bakery. And it's a beautiful place to sit and have a visit with a friend or take a meeting, and it's shady, and it's just, everybody tends to kind of hang out at the other side where Issaquah Coffee is, and but now I think it's really going to really activate that end down by Nifty Knitter.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you're looking for an outdoor space to hang out, check that that area out as well.
Yeah, that's a good reminder, definitely, yeah. So make sure to check out Uniquely Issaquah for other stories, including this one around patios.
Yes.
So that is featured on, you'll find the link on the homepage of our website. But speaking of outdoor patios, our business spotlight this month is on Wine Me Up.
I've been there. It's awesome.
I have not been there yet.
You know what I really like about Wine Me Up? They have a really great story, and that the two owners, are graduates of Skyline High School, and they could have opened that They wanted to open a wine bar. They went to college, did their thing, came back, wanted to open a business, and again, keeping it local. I think is a great story. I also think it's got a real feminine vibe, which is such a nice. It really complements like what the Black Duck offers with its kind of industrial hip PNW vibe. Both are adults only, which is great, and so every direction you look in Wine Me Up is like an Instagram set, and the service is excellent, and the wine and food is delicious, and yeah, it's really great.
All right, well, let's learn a bit more in our business spotlight.
Wine Me Up came about because we both really wanted to open a bar, probably a sports bar, but there's a bunch of bars and like sports bars in the area, and so we were like, why don't we go the wine bar route? Both love wine.
So we included just, things for men and women to enjoy. Women can get out and go enjoy wine while bringing their husbands on a date night. So that was like, one of the things we discussed. And like she said, we're into sports. We made sure we had TVs, and we're going to do, so we're still a wine bar, but sports will be shown here because we have to watch it too.
Chose Issaquah because Gilman Village is a staple here. We sit right on Gilman Boulevard, which is an absolute blessing. And then being born and raised here, I absolutely love Issaquah and what Issaquah has to offer. That it also with our vibe and everything, it just seemed like a perfect match.
The wine bar is our personality. So upbeat, bright, just a vibe, and that's just how we are when we go out and hang out. It's like we want that vibe, the good music, good people and good conversation.
I think Wine Me Up is very different from other wine bars in the region. As we started this journey, we kind of really pride ourselves on that we wanted to be a small business helping other small businesses. Being an entrepreneur can be very hard. Getting your name out there can be very, very difficult. So we wanted to be somewhere where it's like, we have this amazing, beautiful space. Why don't we invite other small businesses so that they could come in and showcase themselves? So things like this week, we're doing our first pop-up kitchen, and it's a local chef that will be coming in, a friend that has a mobile boutique, so people were able to come sip and shop her racks, and doing sip and pours, sip and paints, different things like that. I would say our guest experience is very welcoming. When you come through the door, you're immediately greeted. You're able to sit, hang out, like Ashley said. People sometimes are in here for hours because it's just so comforting to be in here. We do have a good old school vibe that we've gotten a lot of comments on with the old school R&B.
The happy hour wall is my favorite because I love just when people, everyone loves a free complimentary glass of wine or bubbles. And so our the happiest hour wall, we're trying to get it where people walk in and they can just walk up, because that's what it's for, is you walk up, grab your bubbles, and just go sit down. We pretty much have a full menu. We have a lot of tapas, so small bites. Everything's shareable. We also offer flatbreads, salads, sandwiches, and then we have some new things coming to the menu. So we're learning and listening to people and seeing, what this community needs and what this wine bar needs.
We really wanted it to be a space that any and everyone can come, and wine is kind of specific for some people, but you can still come and enjoy it with those friends that do love wine. And we have beer, spirits, we have cocktails, mocktails, and then, we have our wine tails, our wine-based cocktails, which have been extremely popular. You can find us on Instagram. Instagram is going to be winemeUp_Issaquah. And then on our website, you can also find everything we have going on. So we have a calendar on there that will say all the events that we have. And then also on Facebook. The Facebook is Wind Me Up.
Okay, now I'm like double convinced that I have to go. So
Cheers.
I know. That's on my list again before summer ends.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us on this latest edition of Issaquah Buzz. And thank you, Christy, for joining me. It's been so much fun to have you in studio.
It's been an honor to be here. And just any opportunity that I get to share with locals the work that Visit Issaquah does and the resources that are available. So when you're looking for something to do in Issaquah, visit IssaquahWA.com, and then there's a things to do drop-down menu. And tied to kind of what we've talked about today, there's indoor activities and experiences is a whole section on our website, as well as top things to do with kids. So I hope everyone will find that it's a great resource for locals as well as visitors. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. That's a wrap for this edition. If you have any gossip or questions that you want to relay or have us track down, email us at ed@issaquahwa.gov. Thanks again.